Vigilante Williamson here with the unfortunate episode of my show as Mr. Bean Winks. But unfortunately, as you may or may not have heard, President Donald J. Trump has tested positive for COVID along with his wife, Melania. I always mispronounce her name. I'm going to actually read the story, or part of the story, because I've actually tried this stream once before. Didn't really like how it turned out. So I'm trying it again. It'll be a short stream, so hopefully, if you enjoyed the video, please like, give it a thumbs up, and share it if you will, and look at other content I have. But I wanted to report this, give a little quick, quick bit of my thoughts on not just this situation, not just the whole COVID situation, but just the fact that, and politics has been this toxic for a long time, well before Trump, well before Obama even. But it's just like, when RGB, when she passed, there was a lot of toxicity. And of course, when Trump, he catches COVID, it's a lot of toxicity. And I just genuinely wish him the best with whatever's going on, with whatever happens. It seems, hopefully he's not, it doesn't seem like he's had symptoms. I know that he had an Aide Hope Hicks, who also caught COVID. But let me get into the story and then give my thoughts. President Donald Trump announced early Friday that he and his wife both tested positive for the coronavirus, an extraordinary development coming months into a global pandemic and in the final stretch of his re-election campaign, in which he has flouted experts' guidance on preventing the disease spread. The diagnosis amounts to the most serious known health threat to a sitting president in decades. At 74 years old and obese, Trump falls into the highest risk category for serious complications from the disease, which has killed more than 200,000 Americans and more than 1 million people worldwide. His infection with the disease could prove destabilizing in an already fraught political climate, and stock market futures tumbled on the news of Trump's infection. Wow. Tonight, at Fotis and I tested positive for COVID-19. We will begin our quarantine and recovery process immediately. We'll get through this together, Trump tweeted shortly before 1 a.m. on Friday. The First Lady wrote on Twitter that she and her husband were feeling good. So that's positive. Like I said, I'm really hoping that they get over it. And I agree with the article. It would be destabilizing for something to happen to him. I remember Boris Johnson in England had the coof. I've already said COVID much, so I don't know why I'm calling it the coof now, but I know he had it, and it was a rough patch. It was a rough thing, but he got over it. I'm hoping Trump can get over it. So I'll go through a little bit of this. I think that's what I didn't like in my first attempt at this video, but I went through, it's a lot of negative reaction. This is pretty sick because it's talking about the Simpsons and their prediction. There's a prediction of, unfortunately, Trump in a casket, and a picture of the doctor that made the test. And this is just, again, politics. Tons of politics. And I mean, obviously he's the president. That's all you're going to see. But there were well wishes. I think it's just negative. There were well wishes. There are still well wishes amongst this. And again, I get that a lot of people don't like the president. I can even understand some jokes. But at the end of the day, he's the president of the United States. We have an election going on, a crazy ass election. And I kind of gave my thoughts on the debates in my last stream. You can check that out. It's a long stream toward the end. But to summarize, I thought even though Trump made better points, Biden has no plan. I think he just sort of played into the hands of, he played into their hands. I really felt like he could have just let Biden hang himself, and there were, in fact, times where he interrupted Biden from hanging himself. He did it so often, I thought it was a work. But I digress. I still want him to get better. I'm really, I'm Trump agnostic. I don't love or hate the man. There's things that he does that I like, things that I don't. I'd rather him than Biden by such a long shot. It's not even funny, but it's really sad to see just such a negative reaction. I mean, I get that a lot of people don't like him, but you don't wish death upon him. Goodness gracious, he's a human being. He is a human being. He has served the country, regardless of whether you like him. You know, when RGB passed, I don't like anything this woman did, but it's still just sad to see somebody pass. They served the country. You know what I mean? Regardless of what you think. That's just what McCain, with anyone who passes, and I'm knocking on wood, literal wood, that the Simpsons prediction does not come true about Trump. But unfortunately, him and his wife has tested positive. They had an aide, like I said, Hope Hicks, that tested positive as well. Looks like I'm just now getting people on the stream. But I am going to end it because I just wanted to keep it short. Just report real quick about what's going on and what my thoughts were about the political climate. I just feel like, goodness gracious, can you let it go? And I guess, real quick before I close, one thought I had is whether or not he recovers and how he recovers is actually politicized. Because let's say he recovers like quickly and there's very little issue. That's a politically relevant thing. Because if Donald Trump recovers from this disease with like no issues or with limited issues, him and his wife, that's going to have an impact on, I'm sure people will say, oh, he was faking it and this, that, and third. If that is the recovery, he has a quick recovery, very few symptoms, and is able to still, let's say he's able to rally digitally or something, and he's, you know what I mean? But he's okay. And he's not really as impacted. He's not really as symptomatic as they want him to be. That's a politically relevant thing, especially because, as the article mentioned, he's obese in addition to being up there in age. But let's say, unfortunately, he has struggles with it. Like I mentioned earlier, Boris Johnson over in England had struggles with COVID. If Trump has struggles with COVID, it's going to impact, again, the political climate, the political commentary. You know what I mean? If he has struggles with COVID, then, and God forbid something happens, unfortunate, but if he has struggles, it's really going to color the political commentary, or he didn't take it seriously. Look what happened. If, like I said, if he were to come out of this fairly miraculously, or not miraculously, once you know the numbers, I mean, most people who catch this get over it. And in my opinion, I think herd immunity would be the best way of handling this, but I digress. If he were to get over this quickly, it would color, a lot of scare tactics as hollow, because here's this man who's not known as the pillar of health, you know what I mean? Older, well past the age range where COVID is serious. And if he were to catch it and get over it with fairly simple and fairly basic symptoms, it would really, it sounds so crazy to think that, his immune system is political, but it is. Because if he gets over this fairly quickly with fairly minimal symptoms, it would galvanize his base. It really would. And if he does it, it would galvanize the left. Oh, see how terrible COVID is. Lock everything down. Biden was right. Lock everything down. We should be living like Australia. You know what I mean? And I actually, I keep seeing something about Brisbane. I'm gonna pivot. Now that's what happens when you have ADHD. But yeah, that's how we will live. Brisbane. Let me see. You're seeing all the crap that I've searched. Hold on. There we go, Brisbane. That's what happens when you're really tired and you're just doing a stream. But I heard something about camps in Brisbane. But that's how we're gonna live if just camping. Whatever. I have to check that out another time. My point is this. I saw something. I saw like this rumor, but they had like lockdown camps or something like that in Brisbane, and I look more into it. I'm too tired right now. My point is, if he has a struggle with this, or God forbid something happens to him, the lockdown restrictions are gonna go crazy because people will like use it as like an excuse to increase the lockdowns. If he's able to get over this, like very simply, that's I guess, like I said, it would actually galvanize his base. And it's very crazy to think about somebody's immune system being political. It's very crazy to think about lives and deaths being politicized. It's I'm not even saying it's a sad state, like this is something new. This is something that happened when I was a kid, man. You know what I mean? This has been the state of politics for decades. But I think as we all have become more politically inclined, as we all become more of the political conversation, we all normalize and numbed ourselves into dehumanizing political figures. But again, it's very ironic that now this man's immune system is going to be politicized because if he gets over COVID quickly, it kind of hushes up a lot of scare tactics. But if something happens to him, or if this is a struggle like it was for Boris Johnson, you'll hear a lot more from the people who want to lock everything down. So that was pretty much it. It's a short stream. I kind of false-ended it, and I want to get my point. But thank you anyone who joined throughout. If you like the video, please like the video. If you love me or hate me, let me know in the comments below. And even if you did none of these things, I'd like to thank you for watching and thank you for your time. God bless. Bye.